Right, so it's live in pictures on cricket.com. We have Nicholas Verity Knight, in other words, or in other names, it's Nick Knight, of course, who joins us right now. Nick, hope all is well. We'll, of course, show you a couple of pictures about your career on and off the field, and we'll start with this one, which is not the prettiest, but nonetheless, can you talk me through this picture, please? Now, it's not a pretty looking picture if this was you, but this was, I think, 1996. I think you got struck in the head against the West Indies.
Yeah.
And here you are just being rushed into an ambulance. Back in the day, how serious were head injuries? Because it seemed like everyone's keep getting once or twice in a while.
Yeah, I mean, head injuries, I guess, more common when you're batting because of getting struck on the head, fast bowlers, etc. Not so common in that instance there because that was when I was at Silly Point. I think, was it Kenny Benjamin? I think it was Kenny Benjamin. I think Richard Illingworth was the bowler, I think, if my memory serves me correct. And I remember being at Silly Point, and of course, in that era, I mean, post that, I would go back into Silly Point, although it took a while for me to have the confidence actually to go back into Silly Point after that incident. But you would then wear a helmet. You wore a helmet at short leg, but you didn't wear one at Silly Point. And the main reason for that is that the ball didn't generally have the time to get the elevation from that position. So I was never knocked out, but I was pretty groggy, and the picture there shows, but I was always with it. And I can remember, even to this moment, I remember the bat face being really open. And I remember thinking, before the ball was even struck, I remember thinking, this is coming my way. And I sort of went, I was like that, and I went like that, and it hit me just there, right on the temple. I mean, it was, in the danger spot, and it hit me hard there. And I just remember I remember being dazed and sort of concerned, but being with it, but sort of having my being aware of what had gone on. So even when you saw that picture there, I can remember being in that position. I can remember what that was like. I can remember going to hospital. I can remember being in hospital. I remember coming back the next day and batting again. So my memory of it was quite vivid. And as I say, it did take me just a little while to have the confidence actually to go back into that position at Silly Point, but I got there.
Okay, apologies to start off on a somber note, but we'll of course bring happier pictures as we move along right now. What about this one? Because I think it's 1990. This is 2004, the county. And look at little Jonathan Trott with hair there. You can't really miss that. Talk to me about how important county cricket is for any English cricketer growing up.
Oh, it's just, look, I was very lucky that I had a career with England and had 8-10 years of playing international cricket, and that, of course, when you start out wanting to be a county cricketer, a professional cricketer, that was certainly my goal. I can only imagine it's most people's goal, and so when you achieve that, it's the sort of top of the tree. It's the sort of end point. But in between there, you learn your trade. You understand yourself as a player, as a person. You understand your journey in county cricket. County cricket is absolutely. You will never hear me diss county cricket, because county cricket helped me, achieve what I achieved in the international game. So it's a fantastic grounding. It's a fantastic life. It's a fantastic learning opportunity. You saw all the guys there. Jonathan Trott's still a great mate of mine. All those guys in there are all great mates. I'm in touch every week or two with all those guys who are in that picture and all the other guys. We're mates. They're friendships for life. So just for a moment, you almost have to sort of see it in twofold way. One, the cricket, and I've got the trophy there, and I was captain. I had a fantastic team. I didn't have a team that I thought would win, if I'm brutally honest. We had some young guys. We just had a year where things worked out for us. We had Ian Bell come through, Jonathan Trott come through, scored a shed load of runs. I had a decent season. We had a bowling attack that was that picked up wickets because we had weight of runs as well. Everything sort of went our way a little bit, and we lifted the trophy. That was great. But I look back, the fondest memories aren't so much with the trophy in hand. It's your mates and what you've achieved over 16. I think it was 16 county matches, first-class matches in those days. That is a long journey. That starts in April and that finishes in September. And that's a long time to spend with good mates. And it's a great journey. And I think that's the fondest bit of it, really. When you lift that trophy, you've done pretty well.
Yeah, absolutely. That was at the county ground, of course, in 2004. Let's take it 3 years back because, look, you were here not too long ago in India, but you also played against India in India. And here's a picture of you, I think, walking back. This was Eden Gardens, I think, one of the ODI series you guys played in 2001. How tough is it for a player to come to the subcontinent tour, not just ODIs, but test matches as well? Nick, talk to me about that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, my first tour to India was '94 with the A Tour, and that was such a learning experience because conditions are obviously very different. The pitches play very differently. The nature of the attacks are very different. You know, back in England, it's playing for your off stump, slightly untrustworthy. You know, the bounce and the lateral movement, how much is the seam going to play in it? You become a bit nervous playing outside off stump. What movements do you make to cover that? You go to, say, India, and it's stand stiller, bat up nice and high, and slower pitches and turn. And therefore your whole setup and approach is very different, and you have to learn very quickly. And it takes, you know, quite a lot of adjustment both ways. You know, when India come to England and England go to India, so there's quite a lot of adjustments that need to be made there. That particular tour, I remember for a number of reasons. One, you're right. If that was Eden Gardens, I mean, one of my biggest disappointments actually in cricket, international cricket, was that game. Any kid growing up wanting to play cricket in India wants to play Eden Gardens in front of, in those days, I think 100,000 people. I mean, it's just a dream come true. You walk out there, whether you're batting or bowling, and you're thinking, am I really doing this? This is incredible. I can't remember if we batted first or second. I think first. Anyway, I think Javagal Srinath bowled this massive inducker, which was, of course, one that goes, you know, natural there, but goes away from the left-hander. I mean, it must have pitched that far. I'm going to exaggerate slightly, but that far outside leg stump, no DRS in those days. And it was hitting all three. But I mean, it pitched that far outside, LBW first ball out. And I mean, I knew it had pitched far outside. And I went back to the dressing room and I was sort of seeing it, and I could see, you know, really? And it was like that sort of, you know, the joy of playing at Eden Gardens and you're out first ball. And I was like, really, thanks very much. but so that was a bit of a disappointment. Then I remember playing at Mumbai at the Wankhede Stadium. And I wasn't out first ball, but I think I probably nicked it. And then I was out second ball nicking it. That was to Javagal as well. And then in between that, I got 100 and a 72. So I either got 0 or I got sort of 72 or 100, something like that. And of course, that was the tour when Freddie took off his shirt at that game at the Wankhede Stadium. And then, of course, Saurav then did that at Lord's in 2002 because of what Freddie did. So I saw all of that stuff going on as well.
Oh, amazing days, of course. Last two here, and these are off the field. Talk to me about touring back in the day. I think this is you and Mark Elam, Zimbabwe, if my producers tell me right. I mean, just generally going to South Africa, going to Australia, going to India. What did you guys do different compared to the modern day cricketers? Was there a lot more drinking? Was there a lot more cheekiness back in the day than it is today?
I think there probably was. I mean, well, a fine figure of a man there, wasn't it? I mean, where did you find that from? Yeah, I think probably so. I mean, you know, the nature of the game and the way the game is covered is different now. Social media, cameras, you know, phones, and all this sort of stuff. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you know, the approach to the players is very, very similar. Your first and foremost thoughts are, you know, obviously cricket and making the best of that opportunity, winning games for your country. What a great opportunity. You're surrounded by, not, you know, players that you probably don't know as well because you don't play as regularly with them. So that's you know, you're going on tour with players, and it's not like being in a county environment where you've known them for years and years and years, and you have a very good understanding with those players. If you're a player that's in and out of the side and perhaps not quite in the sort of regular setup, then, you know, you're spending a month or two away with people you don't know, so that can be a challenge. I mean, tours in those days, don't forget, were very different to how they are now. Well, my first international tour was, I think that one for England full side was Zimbabwe, then New Zealand. We went to Zimbabwe first, played, I think, 2 tests, but of course, you know, you had 2 or 3 first-class games before the first 2 tests. So that was 3 weeks. Then you had 2 or 3 weeks of a test match series. Then you had 3 or 4 one-dayers at the end. And then instead of going home after that, we went straight to New Zealand. So my first international tour was something like 5 months away over Christmas. So, you know, that also provides its own challenges, being away from your friends and family and stuff like that, and trying to do a really good job. So that's where things are a little different now. The tours are shorter, they're less warm-up games, they're more compact, they're a more sort of travel in, travel out, start again, go back, one-day series, test series. That always used to be sort of one series. It's not always the case now. So yeah, touring is different now, I think, to perhaps it was then, but it was great fun.
It was great fun, especially this picture, which will end with the fact that, look, yeah, I know you have many interests. Is Formula one of them? Jenson Button and you and Ashley Giles. I think this is South Africa where the Williams are testing their cars pre-season. Talk to me about A, your love for other sports, and B, this picture as well, please.
Yeah, Jenson Button, Ashley Giles, we got an opportunity. God, you put up these pictures. I don't think I've seen that picture for 20 years, but yeah, you just get these opportunities from time to time. I think it's important actually because particularly with life as it is now, and it has been recently with COVID and bubbles and touring, it's all very different environments to be in. But I think, in those days, obviously it was a bit more freedom to move around. And, when you get an opportunity, you get your press officer or someone saying, you got an opportunity to go to, I think it was, I can't remember I'm trying to think of exactly where we were there in South Africa, the name of the track, but I can't get there. But I remember it vividly in terms of meeting Jenson and being with Ash. We were there, I think we were the only two, put our hands up and said, yeah, do you want to go? Yeah, absolutely. To get out as much as anything. I'm not a massive Formula One fan, but it was an opportunity to get out of the hotel, go and meet someone I hadn't met before, go and experience something I hadn't done before. And it was just a sort of thing I tried my best to do when I was touring, because sometimes, even in our day, it was easy just to get stuck in hotel nets, play, hotel nets, practice, play, hotel, back to the hotel, dinner, bed, practice, play. And therefore, if you're going to do that for sort of 5 months, that's quite tough, isn't it? So you're looking at opportunities to sort of break that up a little bit. And that was just a perfect opportunity to do that. But as I say, I'm not a great golfer. A lot of the guys go and play golf. I'm terrible. It's a bit like my batting. I can't hit it straight. I remember this one time, actually, just to divulge a bit. Marcus Trescothick and I, great mates, we were playing the World Cup in South Africa, but we'd been to Australia before. So we had like a week in Sun City before we went to the World Cup from Australia. We went and played golf, and Marcus is a left-handed golfer. I'm a right-handed golfer. I'm terrible. And Marcus, we got about the 9th hole. Marcus said, I think you better have a go left-handed, mate, because you can't be any worse. I couldn't actually even hit his club. I mean, how weird is that? As a left-handed batsman, I couldn't actually even hit a left-handed golf shot. But it's totally natural in here, totally unnatural out there. So anyway, golf's not really one of my games, but all great fun.
All great fun indeed. And just for your knowledge, that was the Kyalami racetrack in Johannesburg.
Yeah, Kyalami. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right.
So, I mean, great memories and great doing this piece with you as well, just to jog your memory behind and take you to that nostalgic spot. Nick, it's been fantastic once again to chat with you in this segment called Life in Pictures. We'll leave it there, ladies and gentlemen. More to come, of course. That's all we have. It's a goodbye from me.